Okay, we'll try this again. I lost you. So you were asking about soil temp, and I talked about, the sun, the heat of the day, and the temperature, and how different that'll be. So why I really pushed this early, if you notice, our wheat, is slow. We planted October 20th. We don't have a lot of growth here, but if we wait till longer, then we're gonna really start growing this wheat, and it'll start shading these soybeans. So if we can get this planted while the wheat is really, we're getting no shade on, and we're gonna warm where the soybeans are up, pretty quickly if we can get them placed right. Okay, so the natural algorithm, what I'm talking about, is when you start taking two variables and you got to figure out, you got to think backwards and think about what triggers that, and that's growing degree units, but not only growing degree units, but the calendar and the amount of sunshine. So on a cloudy day, you're not going to get as much heat as a sunny day. So a sunny 55-degree day might be better than a cloudy 67-degree day. So you got to think about where the seed is placed. So it's not going to die from a frost until it germinates, comes out of the ground, and then opens up, and then that fluffy leaf, that's a growing point. So in that time, we talk about the trigger, the wheat is going to grow at the same time. The wheat is going to grow up, and it's going to grow out. So through 4 years, I think the best thing to do, instead of having, more narrow rows, is widening the rows out to make more room for solar corridors to get a earlier, warmer soil, and then allow light down into these soybeans. So when you talk about the trigger, initially a soybean needs some light so it doesn't grow quickly upward and turn into a minute boll with long legs that really kills the yield potential, because you got to think fractally. If we get a really thick stem soybean that grows really low and condense, and that's a part of planting it early. We don't have a lot of growing degree units for that thing to grow. We get plenty of light, it'll be a very robust soybean. So we changed the sprockets on here and added several teeth to it's on the other side, a 24. Anyway, I figured in my head we're dropping about 120. Being a little bit earlier, put a little bit of insurance there. We went to a 24, and that drops about 120. It's so tiny? So anywho, by the time that goes up, the wheat will be a lot bigger. The new light will be in the center, and we may give up a little bit of wheat yield because we can't get light to the center here, but you're gonna make that up on the soybean yield. So 2 bushels of wheat is equal to 1. So you gotta find that equilibrium. And again, I talk about the equilibrium all the time. If we get too aggressive with the wheat, we're gonna take up too much sunlight, too much water, and it's gonna hit the soybeans. So this is kind of where we're at. You've got a quad row, 60-inch wheat, 19-inch wide, and twin. We got about 17 and a half twin in between here. We're trying to get that spaced. I wanted to make a couple passes to get this dialed in on the exact placement of this soybean. And I really like where we're at. Looks like we're doing a pretty good job having that inside about 10 inches from the edge. So when this comes up, that wheat's pretty much going to be tickling it, but we'll have this new light in here and it'll be happy. So anyway, I'm going to start planting, and if I don't run into a lot of wet spots, I'm probably going to plant maybe a third of this field today. If it don't rain tomorrow, I'm going to do some more. So anyway, say goodbye, Liam. You ready to plant some more?